Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lizzie. If you are new here, I like to make book content. Today's video, I'm going to be filming my November wrap up. I'm actually really proud of myself. This month I read 8 books. 2 of them were novellas, but I'm still gonna count that. That is a win, especially considering last month wasn't that great and then the big book slump. So definitely back into my reading zone, which I'm very happy about. So jumping right in, the first book I read was on my Kindle and it was My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. I had actually bought this book, like pre-ordered it over the summer and never got around to reading it. So I was like, Halloween, that's perfect time frame. That was the first book I read this month. I gave it 3 stars. It follows Taylor, who's a teacher who's obsessed with true crime podcasts. And so her and her brother decide that they're gonna rent out an Airbnb for vacation, but when they get there, they find the host or like the owner of the house is dead and he was murdered. So she decides that she is going to try and solve this case, and a bounty hunter named Miles, I think that's his name, he shows up because he was hired by the family to try and find the killer, and it's very much that like grumpy sunshine vibe because Taylor's like, I'm gonna help you do it or like solve the murder, and Miles is like, no, like get away. But you know, it's a romance book. It was definitely good, a quick and easy read. I did rate it 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite Tessa Bailey book, but it was just entertaining and fun. The second book I read this month was Final Girls by Riley Sager. This is the first Riley Sager book I have ever read and I loved it. I did an entire reading vlog on that, so you guys can go watch that. But basically it follows Quincy, and she is one of like the final girls. There's 3 of them and they all went through really traumatic things, so we're the last person left standing in their like group when a murder massacre situation happened. And so the weird thing about Quincy is she can't remember anything that happened at Pine Cottage, or she just like repressed it, and there's just like a whole bunch of mysteries. I really love this book. This is definitely the best like mystery thriller book I have ever read. Like if you've read The Silent Patient, I think this book is even crazier than that one. And I just really thoroughly loved it. I gave this 5 stars, so yay for a 5-star read of the month. But definitely would recommend going and checking this out. There were so many questions and then just like buildup of questions. It was really great, so I definitely recommend this. Next book I read was Confess by Colleen Hoover. I am slowly working my way through all the Colleen Hoover books. There's definitely some that I like more than others, and I don't know if it's because I've read so many Colleen books that I don't want to say it's predictable, but I could just feel exactly where it's going, like right off from like chapter 2. But this follows Auburn and Owen, and just their story. I really like that it was based in Dallas and surrounded by art, and there is like pictures of his art in the book, which I thought was great because like you imagine how it looks, but then there's also physical pictures. But it did have a really cute ending. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was good. I did not think it was like up there for any of her Colleen books, but I still really liked it. Then I finally read the first book in the Addicted series. So this is Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I've heard so many things about this, and this and the Calloway Sisters series, which honestly I was kind of getting confused. I didn't know what this entire series was about, just the Addicted series, and this only follows Lily and Lo's story. She is a sex addict and he is an alcoholic, and they were just friends, and like kind of put on this entire scheme to like keep up their addictions and then hide it from their families. Again, it just follows them. This book, I always feel like it's really hard to rate the first book in a series because it's just kind of like introducing the characters and like their personalities and all of that stuff. So I did rate it 3 stars. I thought it was good, and I'm definitely gonna pick up the second book, but the rating could 100% change. I did feel like the book was a little bit slow and that the chapters could have been condensed because it felt a little bit repetitive, but I feel like the characters they introduced and like the way they had the story go was for a certain reason. So my rating of this first book may change, but again, I thought it was good, so 3 stars. Then finally, I read It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. If you didn't know, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but Atlas is one of my top tier book boyfriends. I read It Ends With Us like 2 or 3 years ago, and then everyone blew it up on TikTok, which was awesome because then we got a second book. And I was avoiding every sort of YouTube video, every like Instagram or Bookstagram post, TikTok video about this book because I did not want it to be spoiled. I was so excited and I wanted to go in with my own thoughts and opinions. I gave it 4.5 stars. Now, I was like, this book is nearly perfect, but I just wanted Atlas. Like, I didn't want any of the POV from Lily. I just wanted to hear from Atlas's point of view. And then also I felt like the parts with Lily were just very, I don't want to say advertised or like modernized, but I hate when they like, I don't know. I just didn't love her parts. So I definitely think it would have been perfect if it was just Atlas, but I still love the book, and Atlas reigns supreme. So I definitely recommend this book, especially if you do enjoy Colleen Hoover books and male POV books, because he is just amazing. So yes, definitely recommend this. Following with another kind of like sequel, I read A Light in the Flame. This is Jennifer L. Armentrout, her book. It is, okay, it's really like, I'm gonna try and say this in the least confusing way. It is the second prequel book in the From Blood and Ash series. So there's the From Blood and Ash series, and then there's the prequel series, and the first book is A Shadow in the Ember, the second book is A Light in the Flame, and then they're coming out with a third book, which I think is gonna be like The Flesh and the Fire or something. But I really like this. It follows Serafina and Niktos. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing their names right. I have no clue, but I love their story. And they also included characters that were from the From Blood and Ash world, and went on to explain things that were never explained in that main series. So if you are confused by From Blood and Ash, definitely recommend reading this, but I would read it based on publication date. So read like the first 3 books in From Blood and Ash, then read the first prequel. I would honestly feel like you can read the second prequel and then go back and read the 4th book. Or read the 4th book and then read this book, just because it does include a lot of spoilers. You're gonna get a lot of that. But this book, A Light in the Flame, really reminded me of, I think it's Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. This, whatever the second book is in From Blood and Ash, this book really reminded me of that. So if you liked that book, then I think you would like this. It's definitely really good, and again, it just follows Serafina, and I love her. She's an amazing character. She's just like independent, fierce woman vibes, just love it. And then we have Niktos, who is just perfection as well. So definitely recommend this, and I think I gave this either 4.5 stars as well, or 5 stars. I think I did 5 stars for this as well, so second 5-star read of the month. Then the last 2 books I read were novellas, and I just read them on my Kindle. They're on Kindle Unlimited, and they were Conclave and Fire Night, and these are the novellas attached to the Devil's Night series. I realized that I had never read them, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should probably pick those up. So I rated, the first one I read was Conclave, and this is like 3.5. So it's after Killswitch, which is Damon's story. And this one specifically follows like Rika and Michael, and then Damon and Winter. It involves all the characters, or most of them, but it specifically revolves around them. And I thought it was good. I didn't think it was like anything crazy. I gave it 3 stars. It was entertaining, quick. I read it in a night. It was good. Then Fire Night, which was 4.5, and this is like years after the last book came out. It involved all the characters, different points of views from all of the couples, which I really enjoyed, and it kind of had more of like it kind of reminded you more of like the actual book series instead of a novella. It was just like shrunken up. So it was really fast paced. I gave that 3.5 stars. I thought it was, again, really good, super entertaining. And if you like the Devil's Night series, then definitely recommend that. It also brings in more of their kids too, which is fun to see. So those were the 8 books I read over this past month. I was really happy about this reading month and just the books. I read some really, really great books. I hope you guys did too, and I will see you guys in the next